In this video, I'm going to talk about how I will be a leader in the classroom and my values as a teacher. I'm going to talk about how I will develop children as a whole and the impact I will make on children's education. As an educator, I value putting children at the centre of education, and I think I'm teaching them in order to be successful in life, and I will use this idea as a basis for my discussion. The work of Fullen and Cotter suggests that to be a leader you need to start with a vision, and I hope that this video shows my vision for a teacher in terms of the purpose of education and the key values. I will begin by discussing how I came to realise my values, for example, how I've been influenced by different modules along teacher training and also through placements. This will be followed by a discussion on creativity, how I value discussion in the classroom and people voice, and also how performative culture could be a barrier to teaching children as a whole. On my first blog post on the 4th of the 10th, it linked to the reading by Bax, who discussed how children value different qualities in teachers, and this made me question what the best qualities of a teacher were. I think I've come to realise how, as a teacher, my identity will change and this will adapt to different children in the classroom, but I hope that my key values will stay strong. Bacall highlights how past experiences will influence your identity, and I think this is true. Over past experiences and placements, I feel I have often mimicked my teacher-tutor in teaching the class. However, I feel my confidence has grown enough now to question why I'm doing things and think about what I believe in. In terms of my own beliefs, I aspire to the work by Robinson, Monday and Claxton that teaching is not just about academic subjects. I believe we are preparing children to be successful in later life, but we don't know what the future is going to be like, therefore we need to prepare children to learn what they need to know. For example, I think if I can develop in children a love of learning and a curiosity of finding out something new, then they'll be prepared for the future. James and Pollard also highlight how education is about preparing children for an ever-changing society. For example, teaching them social skills and enabling them to make the progress they need in school to be prepared for the future. Mathematics specialism is another area of my degree that has really helped influence my values. The work of Skemp and Lieback on conceptual understanding and learning through ALPS has really showed me how children learn. And I initially applied these ideas to mathematics on placements and experiences, but I've come to see how this can be applied to other subjects as well. I think it is important to have a deep understanding of how children learn and the ways I can help them, and I need to be aware that children are different, so different pedagogy will work for different children. However, I think it's also important that although children are different, it doesn't mean that some children aren't capable of understanding certain concepts. I will have high expectations of all children, and I hope that through quick interventions and the idea of mastery that all children can achieve. Another aspect of education that I value highly is creativity in teaching and learning. And I think creativity can be taken in lots of different ways. For example, subjects like art and design technology can be seen as creative, but I really like Monday's definition of creativity, where learning is relevant to children and encourages children to take ownership. For example, looking for new ways to solve a problem or coming up with a scientific experiment themselves. In Ken Robinson's TED Talk, he discusses how children lose creativity as they get older. He links creativity with taking risks, and if children are scared of getting the wrong answer, then they are less likely to take risks and lose this creativity. This demonstrates how I want a classroom ethos where children are encouraged to take risks, and that by getting the wrong answer, it's not a bad thing, we can learn from this and try out something new. And I think this can start with a teacher taking risks. So if I'm confident in taking risks and I'm open with the children about trying out something new, then this shows them that it's good to take risks. For me, this is a key value, and I believe that being creative and encouraging creativity will construct learners who are able to take risks and live in a future where they will try something out which may or not always be correct, but they can learn from this. Linking to the idea of creativity and freedom in learning, I think it's really important that pupils have the opportunity to discuss and share their ideas. For example, in my professional inquiry, I explored the work of Askew, Barnes, Jeffco and others, which really showed me different discussions that children can participate in the classroom. And it really showed me how children learn from the discussion in terms of generating new ideas but also sharing ideas in a community of inquiry. In my research, I also looked at the types of questions teachers can ask to encourage different types of talk, such as exploratory talk. And I found that genuine questions, rather than pseudo questions where teachers know the answer, were much more influential in encouraging children to discuss and actually finding out what the children knew to take their learning forwards. Through my research and other times teaching in schools, such as through mathematics specialism, I have seen how discussion has led to a new understanding or solving a problem together. And I really value this in children being initiators of their own learning and sharing ideas together. And I hope my enthusiasm for discussion will either be something shared by a future school or something that I can introduce to a school and really bring about into the ethos. As a result of ed theory, I have really been highlighted to how the government has control in the classroom and their influence. Adams, Chipton and Jones and Lowe all warn how the current neoliberal ideology of government has introduced this performativity culture. And Adams suggests how this could be a barrier to teaching the children as a whole, as teachers often teach to the test, as their performance as a teacher is based on results. Troyman suggests that teachers can feel satisfaction when children get good results. However, I don't want to base my performance as a teacher on test results, as I don't believe testing should be the result of children's education. The lecture by Stephen Ball was really insightful in showing how neoliberalism controls many things in school, but it also challenged me to think about how I can rebel against this neoliberal culture. I think I need to focus on the children in my class to make sure they make as much progress as possible in many areas of the curriculum. For example, through developing social skills in circle time and philosophy for children, and not let the pressures from head teachers and government affect my values and the purpose for education. I think a link to performativity is accountability, and I think the blame culture is interesting here. Chipton and Jones show a model of a blame culture where politicians might blame local education authority, head teachers might blame teachers, and teachers might blame parents or senior leaders, suggesting that nobody really wants the accountability of children's education. I think teachers should be accountable for their class, but I don't think the accountability should just be based on children's test results. I think that without the pressures of the government, which influence the head teachers, that teachers will feel confident in being accountable for their classes. I think overall I just need to be aware of how the government is influencing my teaching, but also how I can overcome this teaching to still hold my values strong. I hope this video has highlighted my key values in terms of creating successful learners who can take risks and be creative in the classroom. They can use discussion as a way to take control of their learning and initiate new learning, and where all children are valued and have high expectations so all children can achieve. In terms of educating children as a whole, I value putting children at the centre of education, where I am teaching them academic subjects but also other areas such as social skills, spiritual, moral and cultural areas of learning, where they can develop all these skills in order to be successful in an ever-changing society. I hope it will make an impact both on children by making them feel valued and enabling them to be successful in their lives, but also on the school I work in, so maybe making a change in school by introducing a new pedagogy or have an effect on another teacher. This module, along with other modules, has helped to shape my identity as a teacher and build up and make me realise my values, and I hope that I can work in a school that shares my vision for the purpose of education and will allow me to educate children without the pressures of performativity, so I can prepare children to really be successful.